Two-man game, TMG, get the news fast, AMG, game of two boxes. Name two boxers that hit as hard as this. Yeah, we're cutting to the truth, no there ain't no narrative. Eyes up on the cup this year, hear the stadium erupt this year. For my team, TMG.
Of the two-man game podcast. TMG. Jeez. What, episode 55?
Yeah, wow.
We've got Sam on the show again.
Thank you guys for having me.
Boxing aficionado, one of the most astute guys in the game.
We're looking forward to this because we've got a massive fight coming up this weekend.
We had a massive fight the weekend before.
So, you know, you're sandwiched in the middle here. So we've got the expert on so you can give us a review of the fight before.
Okay, I'll try. I'm not an expert. There's
And
guys who
then
know more.
preview this Fury Wilder round 3.
The trilogy.
The beatdown. So
Who's your money on?
I got Fury. I don't think Fury's gonna beat him up again.
I have Fury winning, but and there's something in me that's saying that Wilder's gonna win as well.
What, is that because of AJ?
I just feel like anything could happen. I have Fury winning. Like Fury should win, but it's a little part of me that like a little 2%, 5% that thinks that Wilder's gonna do something.
It's just gonna mess up boxing if Wilder wins.
No, it makes it more fun again.
Everyone's gonna be like, whoa.
Scrambles in the division again.
It scrambles. Usyk is number 1 then, clear.
Ooh, I'm not sure people will have that.
People won't have
I
it,
think
but
he's the most skilled
it's gonna be
boxer
number
ever
one,
in the division.
Yeah, I think Usyk is the most skilled.
But
it will really affect Fury if he loses.
I want to see how he takes defeat, to be fair. That'll be very interesting.
He's not losing though.
I don't think he is, but
I think,
Sorry, we're gonna start again.
yeah. Oh, the mic work.
Yeah,
I think
who's Mike?
he's right.
mine. Yeah.
He's good.
Is it on now?
Is he working?
Oh, yeah.
I can see that. Shall I move forward?
No, you can stay there. I'll just turn it up.
Two-man game, TMG,
Just be wherever you're comfortable.
fast, AMG, game of two boxes. Name two boxes that hit as hard as this. Yeah, we're cutting to the truth, no there ain't no narrative. Eyes up on the cup this year, hear the stadium erupt this year. For my team, TMG.
Welcome to another episode of the Two-Man Game podcast. You know what it is, episode 55.
What a time
Double
to be
nickel, MJ. We got a friend of the show back on, Sam.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Boxing aficionado,
And
one of the so-called experts.
It's too much credit, I'm telling you.
Don't worry, I vouch for him, man. I vouch for him. That's why
Way too much
I
credit.
specifically, recruited him for this episode.
but this is a good time.
Handpicked
It's a good
from
time.
the pack. And the pack is very, very highly contested, very competitive.
I hope I deliver.
You know, don't worry. We know your expertise. You came here last time. Remember we spoke some MMA, we spoke some boxing last
Yeah,
time.
Yeah, true.
he's a well-rounded guy,
So he's there with his what's it mixed arts? What's it martial arts? Combat.
Combat.
I'd like to see him take up a bit more basketball, just to hear his insight of basketball.
I think he would like
Yeah,
the
no.
the
basketball.
dichotomy. You know, basketball, the mental aspects. You
Here
know,
we go.
the guys like Kyrie, even mad. You know, it would be good.
With basketball, I just don't understand why there's so much pressure on that one guy. But then I also do understand because it's a 5-man sport. But still, if I saw a 5-a-side game, I'm not putting all that pressure on one man to deliver.
Don't you think in football that there's pressure on certain guys to deliver on one man as well? Like when Ronaldo's team loses, they put the pressure on Ronaldo. If Messi's team
Yeah, that's
loses.
because everyone's got agendas, though.
And same in boxing,
everyone-
basketball.
Yeah, and I guess
Skip
that's
Bayless.
everyone's got agendas. That's the thing. Everyone's got agendas. The only thing in terms of boxing, like how deep I understood basketball, in terms of how deep I understood the mentality, was Last Dance.
Oh yeah.
But for me, Jordan was a bit great elite mentality as an athlete, various things. But I don't know, man. I feel like a bit like you gotta give credit to his teammates, like Rodman. Them, they made him also who he was. You know what I'm saying, but I don't know too much. So before any of the boxing guys come at me saying I'm talking about Jordan, he's the GOAT, but I don't know anybody who's the GOAT. So I'm a learner when it comes to basketball. I'm a learner when it comes to most things, guys.
Look, like with all successful people, you know, they have this. I think that's a bit unhinged about them, don't you think? So there's a level that not the common man can go to.
Yeah, they're willing to go to places that
So
the common
you
man's not
won't
willing
go
to go
to.
to, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get there.
I hear that. I do hear that.
So that's what I saw from last night. It's like that's a look into a man of a serial winner. Like you're seeing, so this is the places that he's willing to go. This is what he's even willing to show you in the camera. So what's he not saying?
He's even similar to like Ronaldo, everything like table tennis, cards, you know, paint up the wall. The guy wants to win everything. You know what I mean?
It's all those stories. It's all those stories that you hear.
Insatiable appetite to win. It's
And
mental.
now we're talking about the craziest athletes and boxers, where they go to, the places they put themselves into, for them to reach the levels that they reach is actually crazy.
Yeah, boxers and combat sports, there's their level up in terms of what you're talking about. You're going to levels where you're gonna reach, you know, going to the wishing well, because to be honest,
You could die.
Yeah, you could die in the ring. I mean, it can be a matter of life and death. In basketball and football and all those other sports, that's not gonna happen for the most part. You know what I mean?
Mentality it's an interesting thing, and it's context driven. Because in that ring, you could die. If you put a football in that ring, he's not on it.
Of course
Do you know what I'm saying? But it's that mentality to always do better. It's a work ethic more so, that mentality. It's hard though to understand. I don't know, now we want so much personality from these athletes, but Messi's one I've never really understood in terms of mentality. I just don't get enough of him to know. He's probably got elite mentality, but there's, I don't know, people see from certain actions that like, this isn't elite, this isn't.
The thing is, they even say that Messi, from the excerpts of books I've read, that Messi is quite selfish.
Yeah, but he has to be selfish.
It's very selfish, and he's, even though, like, he's just petulant. Like, I heard one time there was a story about Pep saying that no one could drink Coke. Man drank the Coke right in front of Pep. Like, he's a different kind of guy.
See, I hear that, but I try to look at this as normal people, innit? So think about the best player you've ever played with. He's probably taken the most liberties in the team. Just because, like, that's what you do as the best player. Like, you don't mean to do it, but you do it. It's like, if something weren't good enough now, I'd sulk and leave. Do you know what I'm saying? Not saying that I'm the best or whatever, blah, blah. But there's sometimes where you just have tantrums because of certain environments.
It's the level. As a human being, you're always trying to see what you can get away with. You're a human being.
As the saying goes, you make exceptions for exceptional people. And if you're that exceptional, you know, that's how it is.
Talking about mentality, I remember a comment you made last week about AJ having a split personality.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about AJ Usyk. What did you think of that fight?
So I've watched that fight back twice. 3 times if you add just highlights. I actually joined the stream late. So I jumped in at like around 5.
Okay.
What were you doing?
Brilliant. I literally forgot. But what was it? I joined the stream a bit late. But when I came in, I watched the stream. I literally saw a boxing masterclass. I was bare annoyed with AJ that night. I thought it was getting popped. But going back and rewinding all of this, from the fights that I've watched, I think AJ actually has boxed his best he's ever boxed.
In that fight?
Ever. Technically, he was as good as he's ever been. But you never box a boxer. Because your levels are just complete. That's why I was mad at him. You boxed a boxer who, no matter what you do, bro, you're not as good as him. Like, unfortunately, technically, light on his feet, nah, AJ tried. Especially up to round 6 or 7. After that, it was long for him. That's when the class difference was clear. That's when you knew Usyk does this on a regular. That pace, he's going to keep it up.
The pace was way too much for AJ.
But AJ tried. But you can't box a boxer. You just can't.
You can't.
And I'm being less harsh now because I watched that fight again today. When I saw it, I was a bit like, what is this guy doing? Like, he got popped. He still got schooled. But I tried to look for the positives on AJ side. I'm trying to think, why did AJ do this? But you could see small improvements. But AJ wanted to, I don't know.
Wanted to prove something, probably.
Yeah, he wanted to prove something to himself and to people that, you lot say I'm a fighter, now I'm a boxer, I'm a student in the game. Bro, like, you're a good puncher who could box. You know what I'm saying? You're not, it's not the other way around. You're not a good boxer, blah, blah. You're a decent boxer. You know what I'm saying? You're not the worst. You're an Olympian, you're a gold medalist.
For someone joining the game, so look, you're a very, very good boxer, but these guys have been doing it from 5, 6, 7 years old, and just that muscle memory is just way too much for you to catch up. And like Simon eloquently said, you don't box a boxer. Like guys like that, pound for pound elite boxers, you know, Usyk, you know, guys like Mayweather, guys who are just elite boxing talents. You don't box them because you're not gonna win that fight. Yeah. I mean, if your boxing abilities levels with them, maybe you can try to do that, but there's just too much of a gap, and the game plan is my main gripe of that night, because I don't know why, well, maybe wanted to prove something, but was stupid to try and prove that. And for me, I don't know how that game plan was allowed to be implemented. And that's what I say, he's got to have a look at his training camp and make some wholesale changes.
I think, like, obviously, as you said, he tried to box with a boxer. I think the game plan was awful. I don't think he should have gone in there and tried to box with him at all. Like, it was clear from the pace early on that Usyk was setting the tone. AJ wasn't really hurting him early on in the fight, and I was a bit worried from like first 4 rounds. I was like, whoa, this could be an absolute massacre. I think he got back into it 5 and 6. He got back into it, but I think he did. If he had watched the Chisora fight previously,
can't fight like Chisora.
You have to rough it up though. You have to make it rough and tumble. You have to close the gap. You have to.
He can't fight.
Kind of.
He can't fight in this fashion Chisora did 100%, but he should have implemented some of the styles that Chisora did. Should have made it more physical.
Yeah, I think he did in round 7.
I think so. There's one of the rounds he won clearly where it was a bit more physical, but AJ was just, he let Usyk off the hook in my opinion. He wasn't physical enough, wasn't tough enough, didn't make it dirty. Even that's not completely his style, but it's just I think parts of that he could have brought to the fire, to the match, and he didn't. And he allowed it to be too technical on the outside, tippy tapping.
Just because too much. It's the Ruiz fight that kind of changed his style into that kind of. He's got an identity crisis from that fight.
Yeah, he does have an identity crisis. You see that he's battling with it. I think he deserves a lot of credit for what he's done for boxing, and I feel like it's unfortunate that he's lost because people are like, nah, AJ's what he's not. You never box a boxer, but this guy has fought everyone in front of him. Unlike certain boxers, that's why I give him his due praise. But something Melo said that I have to agree with. Changing his training camp, all of that. I've listened to other guys speak about this, like boxing analysts. Watching that fight back today, I feel like his coaches have to take more blame. In game management, you didn't change up the tactics, even though you've seen that this guy's probably he's losing how many rounds. Don't get it twisted. Watching back the first 4 rounds, I gave it to Usyk, but I didn't think it was like AJ was getting beat up. I thought AJ was getting outboxed.
Yeah.
It's later on that I thought he was getting beat up.
I think it was 9 from 9 to 12 he was getting beat up. The first 4 rounds he was just, it was like Usyk's quicker than you. He's getting there, he's landing his punches before you.
And I think because of boxing, everyone has the perception the bigger guy always wins the first few rounds. Like you impose your dominance. But now we're seeing Usyk take centre ring. He's just moving this and that. Your jabs aren't jabbing, they're flicking and stuff. But his coaches had to take more accountability for in-game management.
The lack of adjustments was
I think Sam touched on a lot of things you said last week about the adjustments. You know, the corner's too friendly with AJ.
They're too pally.
They're too pally. And I think because
when you're getting 2 million, or let's say 10% of that purse, you lot are going to be pally.
You have to win. You get more. The purse extends if you win, doesn't it? It gets bigger if you win.
Yeah, it does. But like I said last week, I just feel in terms of crisis, when crisis comes, can you still resonate with AJ? Like all the pally stuff is not working. Can you still reach him and get him to realize we're in a crisis moment? Can you change your tone of voice? Because sometimes you have to change it up to get to reach someone. Like I'm sure you know about this when Sugar Ray Leonard, his coach Angelo Dundee was saying, "You're blowing it, son. You're blowing it, son." He actually laid it to him straight, laid it to him real. Even more recently, when Gervonta Davis, Mayweather said to him, "You're down on the scorecards." He just had that real no bullshit, real life, just convo. Left it just nice and clear. Laid it nice and clear. You're actually losing this fight. We need to do this. I don't feel those guys can make that difference.
Do you think AJ ever knew that he was down?
I don't think so, because if you watch it back, the guys were saying brilliant, and he was getting popped for most of the fight.
However, so I agree that these guys were saying brilliant, but I looked at another angle. This is the best you've seen your guy box, show technical boxing ability. That's what they're gassing. Like all of that, they're seeing the improvements. Like I see he's got this new coach, Angel something.
And Angel Fernandez.
Yeah, that's it. Angel Fernandez. You see his style being implemented. You saw it there. I just thought it was the wrong fight to do it.
Yeah.
I'm saying. So I thought, yeah, AJ's improved, but also, I think there's a psychology behind what they're seeing. They're focused on AJ. That's their guy. We're seeing that, okay, you're in the UK. To get a points victory, you need to dominate us. They're probably thinking, this is the best I've ever seen this guy box. He's doing well. He's doing well. I feel like they've ignored Usyk completely out of their game plan. I thought, no, you're my boxer. That's why they didn't adapt. It's like a manager, even in football, let's say, a manager who's so focused on his team, he's so stubborn with the formation. It's like, it's not about them.
It's about us.
And that's why people, like, Wenger, people used to get upset with him because he didn't have a plan B.
Because he's always like, Wenger's focus is always on his team.
Yeah.
Hey, the thing is, but the thing is obviously, talking about the lack of adaptation, sometimes it can work. Like, you're setting your ways, you know what you to go to in the moments of crisis.
Yeah.
Because you like, I only know one way, this is the way I'm going to fight. I'm not going to try and overcomplicate it and make myself more vulnerable. But for AJ's got like so many, it's like AJ's got like 3 or 4 styles of fighting.
Yeah.
Like he used to be a knockout artist. He's like, I'm going for the knockout. And then when we clocked him, he was like, whoa, I can't do this anymore. Now I'm going to keep you at length. The Pulev fight, now that I rewatched the Pulev fight and I look back at that fight, it's like in that fight, it was the same as this Usyk fight. He tried to box. Then randomly, just like, I think round 9, he just lost his tactics and just went to swing him out. I don't think he really hurt Pulev as much as he thought he was going to do it. Then he went back to boxing.
Did he knock him out round 9?
I think
he dropped him in the earlier rounds.
He dropped him in the earlier rounds where he just swinging them. I think he ran out and he was holding punches. I think that's when he kind of stopped it. But Joshua's not. He's like, he doesn't want that Ruiz thing to happen again. He doesn't want to get into a slugfest. He wants to keep it boxing.
Well, I understand that, but it's heavyweight boxing. I mean, that's gonna happen at one point. Because you're gonna, even if you're fighting technical guys, even when you're fighting guys, some guys may be technical like Usyk, but heavyweight boxers, a lot of them compared to any other division, they're sluggers. So they're gonna bring that to you. I mean, you can use your skills, try putting them outside. AJ has enough reach and skill and power to do that to most guys, but eventually you're gonna be in a slugfest with someone, and so he has to be prepared to go into that sort of mode again. He has to be prepared for that sort of battle at some point.
Yeah, I still think he's got a bit of heart. I don't know. You can't say AJ ain't got heart. I can't say
he's a boxer. He's in the ring. He's got heart. As soon as he entered that ring, he's got heart.
Well, I'm not saying he doesn't have heart. I mean, I would have liked to have seen him put all on the line against.
He didn't go out. I don't think he went out on his sword.
Yeah.
Like even if I get knocked out by Usyk, I'm gonna land something. I don't think at any moment he felt like that.
Also from the fight, Usyk, I don't recall him landing an uppercut. An uppercut's one of his best punches. Maybe, of course, Usyk's movement and head movement is very great, so it makes it hard. But I barely even remember him trying to throw one.
How many body punches did he throw?
He boxed in the outside though.
Yeah. Oh, that's the main thing he needs to change up. I mean, there's only one round where I actually commit to the body. I think it was like round 7 or something. And I looked at the stats. He only landed 13 body punches. I don't know how many threw because he didn't really show that. But someone like Usyk, high on the agenda of the game plan should be to attack the body. It should be.
Yeah, stop him moving.
I mean, if he landed 10 more power punches to the body, the fight could have been completely different. Just even 10, probably because Usyk landed that 28 to I think AJ's 13. AJ landed around, sorry, I think it was 15. AJ's 15. AJ landed at least 25 plus. The fight could have been very different. It really could have been very different. And because when you fight against someone, like I said before, the head movement was so good, their footwork is so good. The biggest target is their body. I mean, and AJ can still have the reach to do that and stay out of trouble to the extent. Of course, commit to the body does come with its dangers because you'll kind of put your head more in the range to get counters and stuff. But like they say, attack the body and the head will fall. I mean, put money in the bank, the cash reserves. That's what AJ should have done, and then he has to do that for the next fight. There's no if buts or maybes. He has to attack that body. I mean, he really does have to, and that's.